No edits, no nothing, no intro, just pure fandom. We just got done watching the Giants walk in to US Bank Stadium filled with Vikings fans doing the skull clap. Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen, Kirk Cousins wearing his change underneath his jersey, by the way. Like, he thought we didn't see the chains underneath the jersey. And Daniel Jones said, I'm him.
Him Jones.
Saquon Barkley said, let me get 2 touchdowns in my playoff debut. Brian Daboll, Mike Kafka let it hang all throughout the game. Wink left a lot to be desired, but he came up in the end. He came up in the clutch. But yo, let me go. You already know a bet. He was on the stream with me. He's been in a couple videos already. Helped me do the giveaway and stuff. Listen, man. Give me your initial thoughts on this game, bro. First playoff game in 6 years. We won.
We won, man. First of all, what stadium were we in again?
US Bank Stadium.
And what did we do, bro? We pulled off of the robbery, bro. We said, give me your money, and we ran with it, bro. Yo, first of all, this game was definitely like a heart-wrencher, man. Like every moment, I'm like, oof, I'm nervous. But you know what? I have faith in my guys. I said earlier in the stream that I was grateful to even be in this position. You know, so to win a playoff game, like, this is like the cherry on top for us. Something about this team feels so special. We just came in there. You know, the offense really cooked it up, man. Daniel Jones really cooked it up. Yo, Isaiah Hodgins, give him his money. He deserves some money with this game, man. 8 receptions, 105 yards, and a touchdown? Come on, man.
Daniel and Saquon deserve their money. They're the actual free agents. I got it. Like, listen, you guys know I've been leaning back heavy towards Daniel in like the past month and a half. But I said it on Just Chillin' podcast. I said it for almost a month now. I said there are some players, they just turn up in the playoffs. They got another level in the playoffs. We know this because we had one. His name was Eli. He was playoff Eli. I think there's a thing known as playoff Daniel, bro.
It might be, man.
He looked incredible today. He is the answer for the future right now. I gotta say, he's the answer for the future right now. He won a playoff game, which is more than anybody expected him to do at the beginning of the season, yo.
Exactly, man. People were questioning if he was going to be on the team next year. And now I think he's earned himself like the next couple years on this team, at the minimum.
Yeah, I think at the minimum, like a 3-year deal.
3-year deal.
At the minimum
3.
And you're talking about an offense that was just, and we know the Vikings secondary isn't the best, but this is still a Vikings team that went, what was it, 13-3? 13-4. This is a Vikings team that still won 13 games. So I don't want to hear no type of excuses. This is the Vikings team that was the 3rd seed, and they beat us in the regular season. Our offense walked in, and it low-key looked like we were the best offense that played today. And the Buffalo Bills played today.
Easily, man.
Like, come on.
The Bengals bottom play, but it don't matter. I think Daniel Jones is going to have that. He had that high of a performance, that caliber.
And when they used Saquon, they didn't use him too much, but when they used him, he was doing his thing too. But, like, this is 100%, I think, the Daniel Jones coming out game. Or not coming out, because he had that already with the Colts. This is a legacy-defining game for him. A first playoff start ends up being your first playoff win. And in the fashion he did it too. I think he had 300 yards passing, at least 2 TDs, at least 100 yards on the ground. And he had a touchdown on the ground too. Yep. I can't remember exactly, but that's more than enough. Yeah, that's more than enough. The injuries, though. Aziz went out early, which I don't know how. He went out actually pretty early. I think he went out in like the second quarter.
Yeah.
Or something like that. And the defense was definitely struggling. And how you feel about Wink, man? Because at the end of the day, he came up in the most important moments.
He came up on that last drive.
The last two.
Last 2 drives.
The refs. You speak about a robbery. The refs tried to rob us with that Dexter Lawrence that roughing the passer call right there.
That was straight up. I think it's pretty bad when, you know, you have all of NFL Twitter just going crazy over one play and it's on your side. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think, you know, once this season's over, you know, the NFL's got to sit down and look at this play again. Too many instances this year have we had these BS ref roughing the passer calls. Like, man, well, I can't touch the quarterback no more. What's going on?
That was a textbook sack by Dexter too. Like, I was actually looking to see if maybe he laid a little extra into him. No, he did what has become the textbook sacks like since 2018, which is you wrap him up and you go down.
Yep.
And you just kind of take the quarterback with you.
Yep.
And I don't want anybody coming in the comments saying, oh, that was a makeup call for Andrew Thomas jumping earlier. No, they already got that makeup call several times. They got it when Kayvon was being held throughout the game. They got it on an offsides on one of their guys. They got that makeup call a couple of times. Darius Slayton, man, which listen, he had the thing is, I gotta give props to all our receivers. All our receivers, they balled out today.
Right.
Darius balled out, Richie James balled out, Isaiah Hodgins, like we already mentioned, he balled out. But he had I don't think it's a Darius Slayton game without a Darius Slayton drop. It almost seems like
that was a pretty bad drop. Like we got lucky with the fact that like we were still able to close the game out with our defense because that drop, man, like it definitely hurt him. You could see him in the stands just so mad and just
he looked like he was getting in his head, and it's like I don't want to excuse it because you need to figure something out, Slayton. It was one of those things where once again it hit him in his hands. He just needs to bring it in. And he had nothing but green grass in front of him. That was on a 3rd and 15. We would have remained. We end up winning the game anyway. Yep. But he needs to get out of his own head now. Because you can't walk into Philadelphia and be in your own head talking about, I can't catch the ball. You can't do that against this Philadelphia Eagles team. That's going to be a recipe for failure right there. But even with Aziz out, did we get a sack today?
We almost got one.
We got a lot of pressures. We got a lot of pressures.
Really close.
The Dexter Lawrence sack was called back. I'm not sure if we got one more later in the day. I don't think we got a sack. But we were getting tons of pressure on Kirk. And I said this at the beginning of the stream. Like from the Vikings' first offensive drive when they scored 7, they were getting the ball out quick. So like they knew our pass rush was coming. And that's a good sign for me because we need our pass rush to kind of hit their stride at the right time. It hasn't been a magnificent pass rush. It's really been league average at best, I'd say, throughout the year. But now you're missing Aziz again. You're going back to Jihad Ward and O'Shane, and Timon Fox was getting snaps as well. Yeah. It's going to be a bit difficult. I really hope that isn't the story of Aziz's career. Like, we get him for one game, and then he goes out for like 3, because when he's healthy, he's crazy. But
Jason Pinlock, man.
Jason Pinlock had the cart.
That was a tough injury to watch.
The cart had to come back out. Like, literally an entire man just dropped on his head, bro. Like, that's at least 200 pounds.
200-300 pounds.
On his head, his neck. I think they said it ended up being a neck thing, right? Yep. And you talking about neck injuries. Bro. Like, Leo's already dealing with a neck injury. But our interior linemen, speaking of Leo and Dex, they had a great game today.
Killed it.
Kayvon, as usual, it's Kayvon things. He's never going to get called for these holes. You got Micah Parsons on Twitter defending a Giant, bro. He's a cowboy.
That's
defending a Giant. Like, come on.
It's crazy. You have Micah Parsons going like, I see the
the wrestling.
Man.
He says
the wrestling.
Christian Darisaul's out here wrestling with Micah Parsons. Like, come on, man. But this game, it comes back to Daniel Jones, bro.
Yep.
It comes back to Daniel Jones. And you guys know how I felt about him. I've been very on the fence with him. And this year, I gave him props when it mattered. I feel like I actually didn't criticize him too much, but there has been criticisms from me in the past. But I can admit, past month before this game, he's been buying me back. And in this game, I think playoff Daniel exists. And I think that alone is good enough to give him a contract, man, because, and people are going to get on me for even saying this, but Eli was never a top 10 quarterback, like, except for maybe 2011. Right. But when it came time for the playoffs, playoff Eli was probably the best quarterback out there in the playoffs, not named Tom Brady. And if this is what we get from Daniel Jones when he's in the playoffs, when the lights are the brightest, when the matches are the toughest, yeah, bring him back. Bring him back. You don't know if you're going to get that from one of these rookie quarterbacks. You don't know if you're going to get that from anybody in college. Bring him back. And my Beds was an even bigger skeptical than I was with Daniel Jones.
Yeah.
And how'd you feel with him today? He was playmaking.
Playmaking, bro. Listen, I've always said this about the quarterback position recently. It's no longer about just making passes. It's about being a playmaker. You got to be able to do everything. Throwing the run, scrambling, and pocket passing too. You gotta be able to. You gotta have the entire package.
Extending the play.
Thank you.
Smart. Oh my God, the pocket awareness. We talked about that a lot. Improved so much. But then smart throwaways, not just throwing it away, but like actually still kind of trying to make something happen. We saw a good amount of that today. It's just, I'm so happy, man. The Giants' first playoff game in 6 years, they won, and it was a convincing win. 31-24.
Exactly.
We move on to Philadelphia. You guys know I'm probably one of the only people on YouTube that's been saying, like, with a serious note, not even joking, that I believe this team can go to the Super Bowl. I'm going to continue to say that. Yep. If this defense can get back to what they were in the regular season, we can beat Philadelphia. But how are you looking at the Philadelphia matchup?
It's definitely a tough one, man. That team is definitely stacked. They're gonna really test us. You know, like I think they're a very, very talented team. But you know, momentum is a big thing in the NFL. And I feel like sometimes momentum can even triumph talent from time to time. I feel like if we carry our momentum correctly going with high spirits and Remember, it's very, very, very hard to beat a team 3 times in a season.
Mm-hmm.
If, I don't know, man. I feel like we have a real shot. I think this game proves that, when things are going tough, when things aren't really going in our favor, we could still push out and still win the game. It's crazy, but I think it's possible.
Momentum is a big thing in the playoffs. Getting hot at the right time is a big thing in the playoffs. And our offense is hot. We just need our defense to get on. That's it. That's it for now, guys. We'll catch you later. Peace.
Peace.